Hey guys, it's time for my first Star Wars video on this channel. If you didn't see it, I went to Ocean City Comic Con in December of 2023, and there I got this super cool lightsaber from the Hooked on Saber vendors. Now, this saber came with a little manual where it let me know the different abilities for the saber, and I found that it had 12 different blade colors, and it got me thinking about making this video. So, I'm going to go through all the colors and give the lore for each one. Because of the different types of lore, though, I'm going to be going into canon and legends for each color. This is going to be a pretty long video, so grab a snack and lift your feet up on your chair. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video to see how you can influence my next big video. But first, let's go into the background about lightsabers, just so that everyone's in the know. A lightsaber is the weapon of the Jedi, and their construction is part of a Jedi's real journey in the Order. It all begins during the ritual known as the Gathering, where Jedi younglings are taken to find their lightsaber crystals. And a lightsaber crystal can be found at just about any underground Jedi temple, but most are found on the ice planet known as Ilum, and would be seen as a different color depending on the Jedi's personal goals or affiliation in the Order. In Legends, the crystal would emit this colored blade to show what a Jedi's affiliation would become, and they would begin their training there. However, in canon, these crystals have very similar appearances to each other, and seem to emit blade colors that are a bit more random, but still fit the characters themselves. And these affiliations include, but are not limited to, Jedi Guardians, Jedi Consulars, Jedi Sentinels, Grey Jedi, Jedi Temple Guards, and Dark Jedi. Now then, let's begin our journey into the archives of the Jedi Order. Let's start with the most common color in the entire Jedi Order, blue. Blue is the color of the Jedi Guardians. Jedi Guardians are the warriors of the Jedi Order, being the ones who regularly go out into battle and be the ones to actually fight off evils like the Sith. They are also the first class of the Order that comes to mind when people think of Jedi. Because of this, their upbringing mostly consists of them honing their combat abilities, both with their lightsaber and in terms of martial abilities, and will usually go looking for a fight. However, because of this, their skills in the Force are less impressive than those of Jedi Consulars, which we will go into later. The Jedi Guardians were also the most common Jedi affiliation found in the Order, mostly due to their constant missions to defend the weak and uphold the laws of the Republic. Many of you may recognize the fact that Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi used blue lightsabers, and they were always prepared for a battle in the movies and shows, with Anakin always looking for a fight against the Separatists. Even in canon, Jedi Guardians are known more as the warriors of the Order, notably being the ones that fight against the Sith. They were always on the front lines, and the most well-known of the Order in the galaxy. Now, while Obi-Wan is known more as the Negotiator, he is a powerful and well-trained lightsaber combatant, as he was able to defeat Darth Maul on numerous occasions. However, in canon, Jedi Guardians took up most of the Order, and some of them had colors other than blue. In a situation when face-to-face with a powerful Force-wielding opponent like a Sith, they'll be quick with their attacks, giving their opponent little time to react. Some notable users include Plo Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Aayla Secura, Kanan Jarrus, Aegon Kolar, Cal Kestis, Exar Kun, Sora Bulk, Adi Gallia, Shaak Ti, Sifo Dyas, Ben Skywalker, Satele Shan, and Nubs. Should this color call to you, it shows that you are righteous and brave, proving the pure virtues that the Jedi stand for, showing why this color is the most common and closely associated lightsaber color of the Jedi Order. Next up, red. Red is the color of the Dark Jedi and Sith, who first appeared with the Dark Jedi during the Second Great Schism over 7,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. Now, what's interesting about these red crystals is that they don't grow naturally, so there are two different ways to make these, though the ways are from different canon. The first comes from legends, where the crystals are synthetic and artificially made, having to use certain methods and devices to make them. However, this process usually happens from 24 hours to 4 whole days, with the user meditating in the Force to create the crystal. And because of this, these crystals were more powerful than the natural kyber crystals that the Jedi used, and were even able to break an opponent's blade, though this was extremely rare, and was never seen in any of the movies or TV shows. Even though the Sith were the ones who used this method and popularized it, Luke Skywalker also used this method when constructing his second lightsaber. In canon, the red saber crystals were created by a process called bleeding, where the dark side user would pour their anger, rage, and hatred into the crystal, turning it red. Because of this, red lightsabers will always be known as the color for those who use the dark side of the Force. However, this bleeding process was also dangerous, as it could also crack the crystal, making it and the blade very unstable, as was the case for Kylo Ren. In a situation when face to face with a powerful Force-wielding opponent like a Jedi, they'll use their aggression to overwhelm and eliminate any threat to their power. Some notable users include Darth Vader, Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, Savage Opress, Count Dooku, Darth Krayt, Darth Kaitus, and Jarek. Should this color be your calling, it would represent your inner rage and eagerness to use your passion to its most powerful, embracing your anger. Next up is yellow. Yellow is the color of the Jedi Temple Guards and the Jedi Sentinels. Jedi Sentinels were basically the detectives, spies, and undercover police that would go out into the galaxy rooting out such evils like spice dealers and outlaws. They don't usually go up against the Sith, but will do what they must to uphold peace in the galaxy, personally going on missions that involve tracking, espionage, and stealth. They were also basically a combo of the Jedi Guardians and Jedi Consulars, being a jack of all trades, as they were very talented in their lightsaber skills and power in the Force. Even still, Jedi Sentinels, especially during the later years of the Old Republic and during the Republic eras, were very unknown by the Order themselves because they rarely spent time at the Jedi temples. And this is what they preferred. They liked keeping a low profile to do their job properly and promptly. However, they would continually appear across the galaxy whenever they were needed. In canon, the yellow lightsabers were exclusively used by the Temple Guards, who were basically the police force of the Jedi Knights, bringing in any rogue Jedi in the temple. Notably seen from the Season 5 Jedi Temple bombing arc in the Clone Wars TV show. You may have also noticed that Rey created a new lightsaber at the end of Episode 9 that had a yellow blade. Or a gold blade, depending on who you ask. In a situation where there is a locked door in front of them, while a Guardian would kick it down or a Consular would knock, a Sentinel would pick the lock and sneak in. Some notable users include Bastila Shan, Asajj Ventress, Tyvaka, Yara Poof, Makah Giat, and a young Plo Koon. Should this crystal color be your calling, it would show that you hold a good and pious nature within yourself, and have a high level of patience and self-control, able to keep a cool head in stressful situations. Up next is cyan. Cyan was first introduced in the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 video game, though not much is known about this color in terms of significance, nor what it could represent. In canon, the color first appeared in the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order video game, where this is an optional blade color that the player can choose. However, this has caused more speculation as to what it could mean, as it was originally a blue saber and was later modified by Cal Kestis, causing it to turn more of a cyan color. However, even though there's no clear answer to what this color represents, I do have my own theory. The color cyan is a blend of blue and green, which has been interpreted by some, including me, to represent a balance between the two primary classes of the Order, the Guardians and the Consulars, having a perfect blend of want for protection and knowledge of the Force. It should also be mentioned that the original script of Empire Strikes Back had Yoda wielding a cyan lightsaber. And, as we all know, this was changed for the final script. But now that this idea is in my mind, I kind of want to see that. In a situation when face to face with a powerful Force-wielding opponent like a Sith, they'll use the Force to guide their actions and enhance their quickness to surprise them with a flurry of attacks. There aren't many notable users, but I did find that this was the color of Mitra Surik's lightsabers. Should this rare crystal call out to you, it shows your inner peace and tranquility, even in the heart of battle. Next up is Ice Blue. Now, this is pretty much the only color I couldn't find any information on, except that it appeared as an optional saber color in the Star Wars The Old Republic video game. But because of this, the color is entirely irrelevant in what its meaning could be, as this is a player choice, making this a personal preference to the player themselves, and not a true finding of the crystal. However, this lightsaber color did appear once in canon. In the Star Wars Rebels TV show, the saber color did appear once during a training battle between Kanan and Ezra. With the sabers looking like this, they didn't seem to cut through anything, and made a higher pitched and softer hum than normal lightsabers, showing that this was a setting for lightsabers whenever Jedi were sparring with each other. Because of that, this is not an actual crystal you can find, but rather a setting for your saber when you are training in your preferred form of lightsaber combat. Next is green. Green is the color of the Jedi Consulars. Jedi Consulars were basically the scholars, sages, and healers of the Order. Basically, they were more focused on their Force abilities than their skills with a lightsaber. Because of this, they weren't skilled enough as fighters, preferring not to use their lightsabers unless absolutely necessary. Instead, they were more known throughout the galaxy as negotiators, diplomats, and ambassadors for the Jedi Order and the Republic. They would be the ones who would go out and diffuse hostile situations, mostly by using peaceful methods like talking and negotiating with everyone involved. They're also more powerful in their use of the Force than most other classes in the Order, as they focused more on their connection with the Force. They were also able to use their Force abilities to a greater degree than Jedi Guardians, and they could use the Force to improve their lightsaber skills, as they were good, but not on the same level as Guardians. This is actually why many Jedi Consulars, like Qui-Gon Jinn, Kit Fisto, and Ven Zalo, were killed in battle against Sith, when others had an easier time dealing with them. In canon, the users of these lightsabers are usually wiser and more experienced in the Force, mostly being senior Jedi like Yoda and Qui-Gon Jinn. However, even still, many users of green lightsabers were less skilled than those wielding blue lightsabers. In a situation when face to face with a powerful Force-wielding opponent like a Sith, they'll usually meditate on the situation, using the Force to guide their movements and actions. Some notable users include Luke Skywalker, Jason Solo, Shaw Gi, Sazy Tin, Coleman Trevor, Eth Koth, Even Peel, Quinlan Voss, Stas Ali, Sin Dralig, Gungi, Ezra Bridger, and Kai Brightstar. Should this saber be the crystal connected to you, it will represent your helpfulness, cooperation, and good nature. And the next color is Roseo? Hang on, let's do a quick Google search. Fairly pink. Well, we're going over that soon. You know what? I'm just going to use this for one of the other colors. We'll just call it silver. Silver is the color of some more peaceful and calmer Jedi in the Order. Now, while the wiki and several sources I've found state that the lightsaber of Terrace Sinube is a light blue, I personally see this saber as silver, and quite a few sources cite him as wielding a silver lightsaber. The users of these sabers have a strong connection with the living force, using it as a way to focus their inner spirit and calmness. Because of this, many of these Jedi have a very calm demeanor and are the closest to acting as true Jedi, being the keepers of the peace and not soldiers. In a situation when face to face with an opponent, they'll keep their cool and wait out the situation, relying on their abilities to outwit their opponent, then take them head on. Some notable users include Corran Horn, Kieran Halcyon, and Alema Rar. Should you be called to use this blade color, you would see that you have a very calm nature and have a knack for studying and meditating on the living force and how it works. The next color on the saber list is labeled as Peak Green. However, this color is more of a gold, so we'll go with gold as the color it is. Gold is the color of strong light side users. Basically what this means is that while Jedi could use the Force to enhance their abilities, those who had gold sabers often had their abilities augmented beyond any other Jedi. It should also be noted that gold lightsaber users are very strong in terms of their lightsaber and Force skills. This theory of mine comes from the Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2 video game, where Jedi Master Q-Ron used the power of the Force to take on 5 Dark Jedi at once. You can even see that he moves faster and hits stronger for any of them to react or properly defend, and are unable to even hit him. Though he was more guided by despair for betraying his cause, he still used the Force to augment his abilities in this fight. In a situation when face to face with a powerful Force-wielding opponent like a Sith, they'll call upon the Force to enhance their speed to superhuman levels and overwhelm them. Notable users include Q-Ron, who is also the only Jedi to wield this color. Should this crystal be yours, it would show that you are wise beyond your years and will do what is right to resolve any conflict, no matter what. The saber we will explore next is purple. Purple is the color of those who are morally ambiguous, as the color is a combination of red and blue. The saber was famously used by Jedi Master Mace Windu, and this came about because Samuel L. Jackson wanted to find himself in the Geonosian arena in Episode 2. But we all now see it as the lightsaber color used by the baddest Jedi in the Order. Now, most users of purple lightsabers have affinity towards both the light and the dark side of the Force. And if you look at it, just about everyone who uses a purple lightsaber uses technique and skills that are used by both the Jedi and Sith. However, each user has a perfect balance of both the light and dark side, and they always manage to keep their balance, which only a few Jedi can really maintain. In the movies, Windu is the only known wielder of a purple lightsaber during the time of the Clone War, and this color was very rare to find in the galaxy. However, in more recent years, it has been revealed in canon that this color was more common during the time of the High Republic. In a situation when face to face with a powerful force-wielding opponent like a Sith, they'll act as a two-way conductor, absorbing their opponent's anger and reflecting it right back at them. Some notable users include Jaina Solo, Jaden Korr, Anya Kuro, Vernestra Rowe, Darth Revan, and Liz Soleil. If you hear the call of this lightsaber, it shows that you have a mastery over your powers, being both strong and wise about yourself and your own abilities, and showing the balance you hold within yourself. Next on our list is orange. Orange is the color of some of the more powerful and legendary Jedi in the Order, though it's pretty rare. However, it has been speculated that this color could be used by negotiators in the Jedi Order, or by Jedi who operated in the Sentinel class as well. In Legends, Jedi Master Yaddle wielded an orange lightsaber, though this was changed when Tales of the Jedi was released. Her being able to use an orange lightsaber would have signified her more peaceful nature as well as her power. It has also been speculated that this color would have been used by Jedi who walked the line between the light and dark side, much like a purple lightsaber, though this is just speculation. But this would mean that orange lightsabers were used by gray Jedi who identified as part of the Order but had a foot and understanding in both the light and dark side. However, there were even some well-known Jedi who didn't fall under this label and still used orange lightsabers. A notable example of this is Jedi Master Plo Koon, who originally had an orange lightsaber as a Padawan before changing to yellow in later games, then changing to blue in Attack of the Clones. In canon, not much is known about orange lightsabers, as they only appeared in the Ahsoka Disney Plus series. However, there's not much information about them, except that their users didn't operate as Jedi, but were neither Jedi nor Sith. In a situation when face to face with a powerful force-wielding opponent like a Sith, they'll use their knowledge of the Force and every lightsaber combat form to eliminate this threat to the galaxy. Some notable users include Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, Tulak Horde, Soon Bates, Yoshi Raf Elan, and Torha Fa. Should this color crystal call to you, it shows that you are creative, ambitious, and resourceful in any situation. The next one we'll be looking at is pink. Pink, or magenta, is the color of Jedi who have some affiliation with the dark side, or are affiliated with the dark side and still have a good heart. An example of the latter is in Legends, when it was used by Mara Jade, who used it during her time with the Galactic Empire before meeting Luke Skywalker and joining his new Jedi Order. Mara was known for being very devoted to Palpatine until his death, when she stopped following his missions and became a smuggler, but remained loyal to what she believed in. It has also been theorized and seen that pink lightsabers represent femininity and is used by strong female characters. However, these pink crystals are very rare in the galaxy, so they aren't seen too often in Star Wars lore. In canon, however, there's not much information about this color, except that it made an appearance as an optional saber color for Cal Kestis to use. In a situation when face-to-face with an opponent, they'll more likely use their street smarts to outmaneuver their opponent and ensure no harm is done. Notable users include Mara Jade Skywalker. But should you hear the call of this saber, it means that you are very compassionate and have harmony within yourself. Finally, we're going to talk about white. White has a very interesting history in Star Wars lore. In Legends, there were quite a few users of white lightsabers known as the Imperial Knights, who were loyal to the Galactic Empire around 127 years after the Battle of Yavin. They were Force practitioners who were more trained as a security force than actual warriors, which can be noted when they were killed by Darth Krayt near the end of the Imperial Sith War. However, there doesn't seem to be much more information about them in terms of meaning or users. In canon, though, we have both a lot more and less information to go off of. In fact, the only example we have of this in canon right now is that they were used by Ahsoka after Order 66. Now, if you remember, red lightsabers are made through the bleeding process, and white lightsabers are made in a similar process. However, here, it's called the purification process, where a red crystal is taken and deprived of its inner hatred, purifying the crystal and making it turn white. However, at least in canon, this crystal is unable to be found naturally, only being made by purifying a red lightsaber crystal, which is made by bleeding a different lightsaber crystal. This makes white crystals synthetically synthetic crystals, if that makes any sense. But they do still have meaning for the user. In a situation where they're face to face with a powerful force-wielding opponent like a Sith, they'll use their full knowledge of the Force to enhance their own abilities to outlast their opponent. Some notable users include Ahsoka Tano and Jora Mali. Should this be the one to call for you, it means you have autonomy over your own actions, as well as being pure, independent, and having inner peace. I would also like to mention another color that a lightsaber can come in: colorless. This has only one appearance in the Star Wars Visions anime show, when the character Kara first ignited a lightsaber and saw it emitted a dull gray, colorless blade. Now, this blade signifies a weak connection with the Force, though you could argue that it's also because she is inexperienced and hasn't been in a battle yet. So at this point, she didn't know what her potential was. And that's what I believe this color means. So, this doesn't mean anything, as it's more towards a user's connection to the Force, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, before you all kill me in the comments for not mentioning this, let's talk about the last and rarest saber of all, black. This is also known as the Darksaber, and was constructed around 1,050 years before the Battle of Yavin by the first and only Mandalorian to be inducted into the Jedi Order, Tar Vizsla. Now, there's a lot of mystery surrounding the saber itself and the crystal, though no real answers have as such been given. What is known is that the blade is more angular than a standard lightsaber, being in the shape of an actual sword. And it has been used by many different Mandalorian leaders, like Pre Vizsla and Maul during the Clone War, Sabine Wren during the Galactic Civil War, and Bo-Katan Kryze during the events of The Mandalorian. This saber, however, is more associated to be attained if victorious in combat, and will be used by the one who will unite all of Mandalore. However, there's a theory that I have that, while the Darksaber itself is destroyed as of The Mandalorian, spoilers! I believe that this saber can come back in some fashion in the future, perhaps by a more grown-up Grogu. In a situation when face-to-face with a powerful opponent, they'll ensure that their strikes matter, focusing less on overwhelming or outlasting the opponent, but rather to make the battle go on as long as they want. Known users include members of the House of Vizsla, Moff Gideon, Din Djarin, and Sabine Wren. Should this saber return and call out to you, it represents your power and authority over others, and your uniqueness in a galaxy and universe of unique beings. Now, for the final part of this video, we're going to take a quiz to see which saber color calls out to you. So, grab a pen and paper. Each answer will have a number related to it, and you'll have to keep track of these numbers. At the end of the quiz, we'll then add up the numbers and see what crystal color calls to you. Remember to use the Force and let it guide your answer. Question 1. You are facing a Sith Lord, and the two of you are separated by a ray shield. While the shield is up, what do you do? Will you A. Focus your mind. This will be a difficult battle for you to overcome, and your skills alone may not be enough. B. Take a step back and allow the Sith to attack you and end him mid-attack. You have been able to defeat any opponent in the past using these skills. C. Meditate and let the Force guide you, hoping to find an opening. You trust in the Force and know that it can guide you to make the right decisions. D. Use your full knowledge of the Force to overwhelm the Sith before he can harm anyone else. You know you may walk the fine line between the light and dark side, but that's worth it to end the threat to the galaxy. E. Augment your abilities with the Force to outlast your opponent until help arrives. With your knowledge and skills, your powers can equal even Master Yoda. F. Find your opponent's anger and reflect it back at him when the ray shield opens. His anger could be useful to turn the tables of this battle. G. Use the Force to outlast your opponent's attacks and seek out an opening. You trust in the Force and use it to understand your opponent's moves. H. Channel your anger. You didn't expect this battle to go on for so long, and you have other things to do. Question 2. You are in need of a ship to take you off-world and not be found out by the Imperial Navy. However, the pilot you found is demanding a high number of credits, which you are low on, to take you where you want to go. What do you do? A. Use the Force to mind trick him to take you without credits. B. Agree to pay him with an extra bonus if he can get you there within the next hour. You have a fully working speeder that's worth at least 18,000 credits after all. C. Show him your lightsaber and make him know that you mean business. Never mess with a Jedi. D. Kill him and take his ship. All you needed was the ship, and you can still pilot one. E. Meditate on the situation. Perhaps the two of you can come to a compromise. F. Leave him and find another pilot. He was the first one you found, and you can easily find another pilot to take you for a lower fee. G. Tell him that you don't have the money with you now, but that you will pay him as needed when you do get the money. Question 3. You are a brand new Jedi Knight in the Clone War, and you are given a Padawan learner by the Council. However, you never requested for one, and your Padawan arrived in the middle of a battle. What do you do? A. You try to train them, but end up yelling at them when they make a simple mistake. When Master Yoda arrives, he sees that you are not a good teacher, and takes the Padawan away to grant to another master. B. Meditate on the situation. Use the Force to guide your actions in training them, and do what you can to be the best teacher you can be. C. You immediately contact the Jedi Council and argue with them about sending you a Padawan. You don't have time to train. D. Reluctantly, you take them on as an apprentice. However, you still get the idea that your master came up with this, and that you feel that you aren't ready. E. You take them on as an apprentice, but you learn quickly that you aren't any good as a teacher, and your Padawan dies in the middle of the battle. You then feel like you've disgraced the Order and leave the Jedi. F. By clearing your mind and talking with them for a minute, you discover that the two of you are similar kindred spirits, looking to explore the galaxy. G. You are ecstatic and quickly form a bond with your Padawan. While the war may cause problems with your training, you still do what you can to ready your young apprentice. Question 4. You are in the middle of a power struggle with another Force wielder, with both of you pulling on a transport vehicle carrying your closest friend. Suddenly, lightning blasts out of your hand and the vehicle blows up. What happens to you next? A. You are broken, but you know that they will always be with you in the Force. B. You are destroyed and fall to the ground. The two of you were close friends, and you are unwilling for others to die. C. You get a high in the power you used, and you crave this power. Seems your connection to your friend was holding you back. D. You are devastated and then annihilate your opponent for causing this event to occur. E. Meditate on this. Call out to the spirits of those who have fallen to guide you. F. Use this lightning ability to now attack your opponent. Take him down and bring him to justice. G. You feel nothing. While you were friends, you feel connected with the Force, and you know that this was wrong, but you still feel their presence within you. Question 5. You are in the middle of Jedi training, but you get a vision of your close friends being tortured and potentially being killed. However, your Jedi Master tells you that you can't leave before you finish your training, as you aren't strong enough to take on the imperialistic empire. What do you do? A. Stay and finish your training. You don't understand what will happen, but you know from your visions that your enemies won't kill your friends immediately. B. Leave to save your friends. You know enough to use the Force, and you certainly know how to fight. C. You go, but you admit you don't know what to do when you get there. You figure you'll just improvise. D. You swear that you'll kill those who are responsible for torturing your friends. They should know better than to try to mess with you or your friends. E. Meditate on this. Perhaps the Force can guide you on what to do. F. Ignore your master's warnings and go and fight. You know the weaknesses of the Empire too, and you want to hit them hard. G. You leave, but allow the Force to guide your actions from here on out. You know that you need a powerful ally on your side. Question 6. You find your parents are dead, killed by the Sand People. What do you do now? A. Use the Force to read their minds and convince them to leave. Then destroy their entire village. They shouldn't have killed your parents. B. Kill them all, but spare the women and children. It's the men's fault that you're now an orphan. C. Kill every single one of them. You lost your entire world, and they should lose their world too. D. Drag your parents out of the camp area. Bury them and mourn them before running off before you're seen by the Tuscans. E. Meditate. See if you can find their spirit within the living force and try to communicate with them one last time. F. Mourn them, but celebrate their life as well. They raised you, and you know they would want you to live your life in happiness and peace. G. Leave and enter the camp a new way. See if you can convince the Tuscans to reveal why they did this without using your weapon. Question 7. You and 3 other Jedi are face to face with the most powerful Sith Lord. This Sith has just activated his lightsaber, and he is just about to attack. What do you do? A. Call upon his anger and channel it right back at him. This will turn the table in your favor. B. Use your skills in the light side to augment yourself and hold him off long enough for your allies to call for backup. C. Focus your mind, ready yourself, and allow the Force to guide your skills. This will be the toughest battle you've ever faced. D. Using the Force to augment your speed, you behead the Sith Lord before he can move. This ends today. E. You sense the power of the Sith and know you're no match. You instead kill your own allies. Perhaps he will be merciful and allow you to become his new apprentice. F. Using your full knowledge of the Force, you wait for the Sith to come closer, and then you strike him down. But you remember to keep your mind clear of all distractions. G. Move toward him before he can move and engage him in combat. While your allies will give you backup, it is your mission as a Jedi to destroy the dark side. Question 8. You are the Grand Master of this new era of the Jedi Order, and you sense the dark side within your most promising student. How do you respond to this? A. Kill him. You can't let the dark side reemerge in the galaxy. B. Meditate. Perhaps you can discover where this dark side presence came from. C. Call him to your chambers and give him advice. Do what you can to help him find his way back to the light side. D. Exile him from the Order. You can't risk that he'll destroy the new Jedi Order that you worked so hard to build. E. Calm your mind and try to see if you can hear what he hears. Using the Force, you do what you can to call him back to the light. F. Call him to a sparring challenge with you. However, you use this to test how far down the dark path he is. G. Leave the temple with him and go to the planet Tython. the original home of the Jedi. Perhaps if brought here, you can have an easier time to connect with him and bring him back to the light. Question 9. You hear the call of an ancient lightsaber, and, when you first touch it, you see images and flashes of its horrific history, including the destruction of the Jedi Temple, the killing of the Jedi Order, and the dark surroundings of Cloud City. Once you get out of this trance, how do you react? A. Run away. You don't want anything to do with this. B. Take it. You know the horrors of what you saw are of what could happen should the dark side control the galaxy again. C. Destroy it. Such sights can't be seen by anyone else. D. Meditate. Maybe you can listen to the voices you heard and see if they can guide you. E. Take it, but you swear to never use it. While you're glad you finally have a weapon to fight off the evils of the galaxy, something just doesn't feel right about the saber. F. You feel the powerful anger within the blade and meditate on this. You channel your feelings and see if you can pour your own good nature into the crystal itself. G. You use it, but you don't know how to. So, when the area is attacked, you accidentally kill people during the battle, but it's their fault they got in your way. Question 10. You are in the middle of a battle against an army of droids. However, they have a new weapon that sends out a shockwave, causing you to lose your lightsaber. You are then surrounded by droids. What do you do? A. Use your battle experience to take them down. You have been trained in several forms of martial arts, and the Force can enhance your strength and speed. B. Surrender. Perhaps they will spare you. C. Use forbidden techniques to annihilate the droids. You are completely surrounded, and they should know better than to mess with you. D. Close your eyes and allow the Force to flow through you. You know that if you die, you will become one with the Force. E. Use Force speed to move through the droids and gain a better position. You are in too open a space, and you know that you need some kind of cover. F. Use the Force and find your lightsaber. You are connected with your kyber crystal, and you can use the Force to bring it to you and rush towards it. G. Using the Force, dismantle the droids in a flash, taking out the screws and bolts in each one of them all at once. Question 11. What would be the Force ability you would focus on mastering? A. Force Choke. B. Tuta Minus. C. Force Healing. D. Battle Meditation. E. Force Drain. F. Simul Futurus. G. Force Kick. H. Mind Probe. I. Shatterpoint. J. Force scream. K. Foresight. L. Psychometry. M. Force judgment. Question 12. What is your favored lightsaber skill to learn? A. The power of utilizing the high ground, SOCON. B. The use of two lightsabers, Jarkai. C. The act of deactivating and reactivating your lightsaber during a duel, Trakata. D. Wielding your weapon while riding a beast, mounted lightsaber combat. E. The use of psychological warfare, Dun Mok. F. Mind over matter, telekinetic lightsaber combat. G. Brain before brawn, Form 0. H. Disarming an opponent, Sun Gem. I. Death by 1,000 cuts, Shim. Question 13. You are among a group of Padawans who are to be chosen to become Jedi Knights, and are brought before the Jedi Council. You figured that you'll be a knight since you are one of the most powerful Padawans in Jedi history. However, when the ceremony is over, you are the only one to not be chosen to become a knight. How do you respond? A. Meditate on this. Perhaps the Force will show you why you weren't picked. B. Go to the Council and argue with them with their decision. They should know your power. C. Find your master and ask to be taught again, as if you were just chosen to be a Padawan. Restart your training and see if you can learn what you did wrong. D. Find the greatest master of your era and challenge them to a battle. Clearly, this will show that you are strong enough to be a Jedi. E. Admit your failure and flaws, and focus your mind. There will be other tests. F. Gather your skills and knowledge of the Force and leave the Jedi Order. You know your power and limits. They don't. G. Accept your defeat and humble yourself. You remember that your master said everything is part of your training, and perhaps he was referring to this. If you got a score from 13 to 24, your saber calling is red. You are quick to anger and have rage deep within your heart. You have deep resentment towards most everyone in the galaxy. Should you go to Korriban, the ancient birthplace of the Sith, you feel right at home. If you got a score from 25 to 34, your saber would emit an orange blade. You have anger in your heart, but a good nature as well. You will feel the call of neither the Jedi nor Sith. If you got a score from 35 to 43, your saber color will be purple. You feel neither the pull towards the light nor the dark, but you will feel the line between the two underneath your feet. You may have had a past dealing with the dark side, but you know the danger and pain that it caused. If you got a score from 44 to 47, your lightsaber crystal will be pink in color. You have darkness in your past, but you are in harmony with your crystal enough to forego your past and determine your own future. If you got a score from 48 to 56, your crystal will be seen as blue. You are eager for battle and are glad whenever you get to fight against a worthy opponent. However, you still know when to use words and when to use action. If you got a score from 57 to 61, your crystal color is cyan. You are curious and always eager to learn more about the Force, but you still have a high want for action in your life and will probably go out of your way to help others in danger. Should the situation call for words or your weapon, you will be fine with both outcomes. If you got a score from 62 to 70, you are called to wield a green lightsaber. You are very easygoing, and you rely more on your connection to the Force rather than anything else in the Order. However, you'd prefer not to use your lightsaber at all, only in the most dire situations. If you got a score from 71 to 80, you are the proud owner of a yellow lightsaber. You use your brain to outthink your opponents and situations rather than your weapon or the Force. Though, your training will ask you to disconnect yourself with the rest of the Order. If you got a score from 81 to 86, you heard the call of a gold kyber crystal. You have an intense knowledge in the light side and are willing to have the Force as your ally. However, while violence and action doesn't suit the life of a Jedi, you will fight if necessary, and use the Force to outlast and overpower your assailants, though you know that this can be dangerous. If you got a score from 87 to 89, you will be the wielder of a white lightsaber. You have great knowledge of the Force as a whole, but didn't hear the call from a crystal in particular. You have an inner sense of peace and purity that you were able to purify a red crystal, showing your full knowledge and trust in the Force. If you got a score from 90 to 98, your lightsaber will hold a silver crystal. You have a very calm mind and are wise beyond your years. You understand every aspect of the Force and use it to keep justice alive in the galaxy. However, while you would prefer not to use your lightsaber, you will if dealing with another Force wielder. And that's all for these lightsaber colors and their meanings. Let me know what your scores were in the comments below, and let me know if they were anywhere close to what you predicted. Should you fancy yourself a lightsaber like this, check out Hooked on Sabers and their wide selection of different saber types. Now for my next big video, you have the power to influence what I talk about. I'm open to just about any animated show, and I'll be putting a poll up on my channel page soon with some ideas on what I want to talk about for my next series review. Leave me a comment either in this video or on that post and tell me what you want me to talk about. Those comments really help me out in knowing what you guys want to see me talk about next. In the meantime, subscribe if you haven't, ring that bell for notifications, and give this video a like. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you guys next time. Now if you guys excuse me, I got a new mission to go on. Don't turn off the kitchen light.
Okay.
Or turn on that light.
Oh, are you filming?
Yep.
Sorry.
What? Am I in your picture?
We were in the shot
I'm sorry.
for a moment.